I just want to do a quick run through of this plugin. So what it does is kind of generates like namespace style files. It's not like a real namespace. It just organizes them into global classes so you don't have a million classes floating around. So you can find it here, Godot, sudo namespace, GitHub, Broad 11. You're going to want to download the release, not the source code. And so you get the package, just put it in your add-ons, extract here, come in and enable it. And so there's two sub plugins that kind of run with this. One is this little editor console, which you can pop open by clicking that button. This just lets you run the commands a little easier. You can also run the command from an editor script inside here. And so if you're in 4.5, you should be able to run it through the command palette. It'd be like namespace builder. And there's also some settings, like you can set where you want these files to be generated through project settings. So come all the way to the bottom, plugin, namespace, you can set that there. And then the other plugin it comes with is a syntax highlighting plugin. You can enable, disable whatever you'd like down here in plugin, syntax plus. So I have it so that it sets every single script, gdscript, to use this highlighter. I have it highlighting member variables, Pascal, and constants. You can just turn whatever you want on and off. And yeah, so if you don't want any of these, but you do want the namespace highlighting, you can do that. When you enable this, like if you have 100 scripts open, just close the editor and restart because it will not be in this list until you reopen it. If it's trying to automatically set them, you'll get this little error. We'll just reopen that. And so now you can see this is highlighted like that. So what we're going to do is create a couple of these little namespaces. So we'll go comment, exclamation mark, namespace. And so then we can just decide what we want. So we'll say my namespace class. And so class is the current file, what the current file will be called in the namespace. So this is some class. So we'll say some class and we'll just build it just now. So if you hit Control Space when you're focused on this console, it brings up all your options. So we'll say namespace. We can hit dir. Okay, that's where it's going to go. Let's actually set it to namespaces just to do it. Okay, namespace build, and it's going to say ensure all files have been saved. Hit OK. And there we have our new files here. So it's just the one file. You can see this is green up here. And that means it's a new file. If we hit space, it's going to change the color now. Now that these are generated, what this is saying is this is an existing file, an existing class, and this being this color means that is this script. So if I change the name of this, now it's going to be under a new name and it's not valid, right? So that shows you that this is all good. So let's add the other one to that. So now that we have a file in there, if we start typing, we'll see our existing namespaces show up. So this is actually also a valid way. We don't need that class keyword. If we do this, we could name this some class. And so now you can see that this is red, and that's saying that this exists and it's not this file. A different file is some class in that namespace. So let's say test some class, save, build it. And so now you can see a new file has been built in here, a new folder for this test subclass. And let's just follow it through. So we've got in our top level, it's a global class. We've got some class that is that script. And then we have test, which is in our namespace folder here. We can follow that. And we've got the other some class. Okay, well, that doesn't make sense to have both those the same. So let's change that. You see it's red because there's a member there already. Okay, and so now we're updated there. You can see everything has been fixed, test script. Every time you run this build process, it's going to delete all these files except the UIDs. And yeah, so you don't want to make any changes in this folder. Whatever folder you set, any changes you make will be deleted when you run your build. If you have these open when you run the build, you're probably going to want to close them before any of these generated files, just you get some weirdness going on from like caching and stuff. So you're better off not even going into them, really. And so let's just do a little test here. So there's a code completion aspect to this that will give you better results, like doing extends. Usually when you do extends, right, it's going to just give you types. And if you wanted like a subtype, it's not going to give you that good of, right? It's just relisting everything. So when you do this normally, you get poor results. It won't give you autocomplete. But if it sees that it is a file from your namespace, it will actually list the internal members. And so you can see test, which it has the object icon, meaning it's a like a namespace, and the script is a external script. And so that's what you're going to want to be extending is the scripts. So this is this file. We can't do that. We can say test script. And let's see what's in this file. So I got kind of an awkward typing thing here. We can see that some obj enum. So we can see these from that file. The extend works, and yeah, no brittle strings, no nothing like that, and nice and organized, right? The other thing it will do is it will give you a warning if you break something. So this one is extending namespace test script. Let's say we want to just move this out of there. We're going to rebuild. And it says, okay, you actually have a reference here that is going to break with the new files. So either go ahead and then fix it after, or cancel now, right? And so you have the option what to do, but it is going to scan it, and it's going to give you all the references in your files to tell you if you're breaking something. So that's about it for this thing. Really, it's just to kind of give you a easier organization. I've been doing this style of class management, we'll say. I've been doing it for quite a while, and it's just always a pain having to keep everything. You come in here, if you got UIDs, it's tough to read. You got to put paths everywhere. You change the name of something, you got to update it, whatever. This just takes all that out. You can move the files because it's UID, and if you rebuild it, it'll just give you your new path. It's easy to move into a new file. You don't have to make files. You don't have to, do anything like that. So it's really just a stopgap until namespaces are actually implemented. This is not really, I would expect with like a real namespace implementation, you'd be able to say like import my namespace, and then you could just access test script, or whatever the member would be. So this is not like that. It's not like a full implementation. All it is for organization, but that's about it.